She's the Queen of Hallmark, and since 2013 has starred in 11 Hallmark Christmas films. Traveling from Italy to Ireland, working as a graphic designer to being a stay-at-home mom, building gingerbread houses to dancing the waltz of Christmas, Lacey's become the Hallmark staple each holiday season. Today, we are ranking all 11 Lacey Chabert Hallmark Christmas films from the worst to the best. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched these films, she falls in love 11 times. Number 11. Pride, Prejudice, and Mistletoe. Darcy is a lawyer who's a partner at her own law firm and doesn't get away from the office very often. Her career has always come first, so she hasn't had time for love until she returns home to help her mother plan a charity event. Her mother hires a caterer who went to high school with Darcy, and as they plan out the event, Darcy struggles to find time for romance and avoid her partner from pushing her out of her own law firm. I don't know what it is with Hallmark and their love of Jane Austen. Perhaps because it's in the public domain and it can be easily adapted, or someone at Hallmark really loves Jane Austen novels. Sad news for those who are fans of her books. Other than the title and the name Darcy, the film really has no connection to Austen's novels. I'm not really sure that would matter, as while I have nothing really bad to say about the film, I have nothing really great either. Lacey is always just fine, as is Brendan Penny. The problem is that the movie is fairly boring. Event planning films typically are, and I wish Hallmark would drop that story trope. And before you comment below, I know that this is based on a book with the same name. I've not read it, and from the comments on those who did, neither did the screenplay writer. Number 10. A Christmas Melody. Lacey plays Kristen, a single mother who moves back to her hometown with her young daughter, Emily, after her fashion boutique shuts down. Kristen volunteers to make the costumes for the school Christmas pageant, working with Melissa, her childhood nemesis in charge. She quickly falls for the music teacher Danny, who is writing a song for her daughter to sing at the pageant. There's nothing wrong with the overall story of this film. It's a typical Hallmark film filled with the tropes that I love, but the movie is unwatchable. Lacey and Brendan are not to blame for this train wreck. Both of them have starred together numerous times and they have fantastic chemistry together. This film suffers from the execution, and that would put the blame squarely on Mariah Carey. Throughout the film, it's clear that Mariah Carey shot her scenes separately against a green screen with a soft focus filter. These scenes are abruptly intercut in between scenes with Lacey and Brennan, and I can't help but laugh every time I see it. This is not hating on Mariah Carey. I'm indifferent to her. However, she was the director of this film, and in my opinion, she put her own personal ego ahead of the film. Also, who had the brilliant idea not to let Mariah Carey sing in her own movie? Number 9. Time for Us to Come Home for Christmas. The Snowfall Inn mysteriously invites 5 guests who all have something in common from their past. Lacey plays Sarah, who looks to solve the mystery as to why they were invited and what connects her to the other guests. With the help of the handsome owner, Ben, Sarah solves the mystery and falls in love. This is the third film in the Time for Somebody to Come Home for Christmas series. It's based on the Blake Shelton song of the same name, with Shelton credited as the executive producer. Other than the title and the pronoun changing, I'm not really sure how all these films really relate, but last year we saw the 4th in this series, so it's going to keep going. Lacey is fine in this film, and I didn't get a lot of chemistry with her co-star Stephen Hazar. The film is full of secondary characters that, along with the mystery, leave very little time for romance. The biggest problem in this film is that it's slow, and the final mystery is not all that exciting. Spoiler alert, all these guests were invited by the former inn owner. At one point, Lacey's character Sarah's parents stayed at the inn with the other guests, and the former owner wanted to recreate that same experience for the new owner. While I would enjoy a feel-good story about a weekend with my parents stayed at a hotel, I think I would be more annoyed to be invited to relive it, especially at Christmas. Number 8. Christmas at Castle Hart. I covered this movie in my previous ranked video, but I will touch upon it again. Lacey plays Brooke Bennett, who travels with her sister Margot to Ireland at Christmas to search for her Irish roots. Don't get too excited about searching for their family. That plot is ignored until the end. Lacey's character meets Aidan, the Earl of Blaslow, and with her sister's help impersonates a famous event planner to take a job in planning at the castle's annual Christmas party. I had a real problem with Lacey's character in this film. She lies about who she is and impersonates a well-known party planner. This is not how a protagonist in Hallmark film should act. Yes, she feels guilty about it, but that doesn't make up for the fact that her character is a liar and she is rewarded for that in the end. It's a shame that this has to be another event planning film. The plot of exploring Ireland with her sister, meeting the Earl, and searching for their family sounds a lot more fun to me. Lacey is always as great in this film, and I just can't get past her character's untruthfulness. Number 7. Christmas in Rome. Lacey plays Angela, an American working as a tour guide in Rome who shows visitors unique locations in the city. This gets her fired from a job, but she doesn't follow the script for taking visitors to the touristy spots. She meets Oliver, a lost American businessman, and agrees to show him around the city, showing him the culture and traditions of Rome at Christmas. The Hallmark movies that take place in other countries often suffer from budgetary issues, shooting for only a few days at the actual locations. Then the remaining scenes take place indoors and are most likely filmed back in the States. Christmas in Rome suffers from that same problem. The scenes where they actually film in Rome are wonderful. Instead of seeing the city, the majority of the film we get to see a lot of the scenes indoors and the actors against a blue screen. I really love the scene at the Trevi Fountain and the backdrops of the city. Unfortunately, they're ruined by the inclusion of CGI Christmas decorations everywhere. I love Lacey, but this role wasn't quite right for her. I didn't come away believing she knew what she was talking about. The chemistry between her and Sam Page also felt flat. I would have enjoyed this film more if the focus was on exploring Rome and less on his career and her starting her own touring company. Number 6. Family for Christmas. Years after separating from the love of her life to pursue her career as a journalist, Lacey plays Hannah, the local newswoman. During the station Christmas party, she meets Santa Claus. He reveals that he knows that Hannah, while happy with her career, is also wishing she could have had a family. She wakes up to find herself married to her college sweetheart Ben and the mother of 2 girls. Hannah gets to answer the question we all think: what if? Family for Christmas is a retelling of the Nicolas Cage film The Family Man, which is a reverse retelling of It's a Wonderful Life. Lacey's interaction with the 2 girls is a lot of fun, and I enjoy this movie until the 3rd act. This would be my favorite Lacey Christmas film, but it has one major problem: Ben. In the alternate reality, she did not leave Ben to pursue her career. Instead, she became a stay-at-home mom. This is something not to look down upon, except that she manages to get a job as a newswoman. Ben's reaction to this news is shocking. Instead of showing support for her, he shames her for wanting to balance a career and motherhood. Lacey's character, while wanting a family, also enjoys her job. The film tells us that women are not meant to have a passion or a career. They should just stay in the kitchen and be a stay-at-home mom. Number 5. The Sweetest Christmas. Kylie breaks up with her boyfriend/boss when he decides to promote her instead of proposing at their anniversary dinner at the restaurant of her high school sweetheart, Nick. She decides to focus on her true passion for baking when she learns that she's a semi-finalist in the annual American Gingerbread competition. Nick lets her use his restaurant kitchen in the evenings to make her gingerbread entry and slowly reconnects with him as she bakes gingerbread. The movie is 2 hours of Lacey's character planning, mimicking, and failing to find an idea for her gingerbread entry. In the end, it takes her less than 12 hours or 2 minutes of screen time to make the gingerbread carousel she turns in. It's not that this movie is bad. I actually found myself enjoying watching her struggle to overcome her anxiety while decorating the gingerbread entry. It's just not that exciting. I do laugh how quickly Lacey's character breaks up with Alex when he disappoints her by not proposing to her. He clearly messed up, but it's probably for the best as she seems relieved to be rid of him. The movie does have the greatest line from a Hallmark film. When her relationship with Nick becomes rocky, she doesn't know how to communicate with him about their issues. She quickly realizes the better way and proclaims,
I have to tell him how I feel. Best way I know how. It's gingerbread.
Number 4. Matchmaker Santa. Melanie is heading to her boyfriend Justin's family lake house for Christmas. She flies out with Justin's assistant Dean, who has a secret crush on her. On the flight, they meet Santa Claus, who uses his magic to keep Melanie and Dean together from leaving the town of Beaufort Falls. Continuing to play matchmaker, Santa also uses his magic to keep Justin's high school sweetheart Blair trapped with him. The premise of this movie is nuts, but I still love it. Santa uses his magic to essentially break up a couple to bring 2 other couples together. Neither Melanie nor Justin are heartbroken over this breakup, and they accept the new matchmaking. The film has a ton of Christmas feels, from the town of Beaufort Falls to the television staples of Florence Henderson and John Ratzenberger, who all keep and welcome the couple as they celebrate Christmas. This was Lacey's first Christmas film, and Hallmark fans discovered how much we love her in this film. Lacey has a personality and smile that just shines. Number 3, A Wish for Christmas. Sarah is a pushover and doesn't like to speak her mind. When the art director takes credit for her big idea of Christmas 365, she makes a wish to Santa that she'll finally have the courage to stand up for herself. He grants her that wish, but giving her only 48 hours of bravery before falling back into her unassertive ways. Sarah must discover how to speak her mind on her own while she falls in love with her boss. When you watch this film, you'll notice that there is no wide shots of Lacey. That is because she was 7 months pregnant during the filming production. The filmmakers hid her baby bump behind purses and boxes, tables, and under big, thick coats. It's very noticeable and it's kind of distracting at times. I really enjoyed Lacey's character growth. She becomes assertive and confident. However, her relationship with Green feels forced and unrealistic. Green's character is not a great guy either. His character owns the studio she works for, and he makes his employees work on Christmas. He even refuses to see his family on the holidays, even though he was in that town. Lacey's character convinces him to be nice to his employees, but I found myself questioning what she actually sees in him. Number 2, A Royal Christmas. Prince Leopold, heir of Queen Isidore of Cordinia, is a royal in hiding, dating the commoner seamstress Emily, played by Lacey. He tells her that he's been deceiving her and unveils his royal identity. They travel to his country, where his mother Isidora wants Leo to marry the Duchess of Warren, Natasha, instead. With the help of the castle staff, they teach Emily how to impress the Queen in the hopes that she will accept her. The story of the royal marrying the commoner has been done numerous times, and this was one of the first original Hallmark royal films that defined this story trope, and this one has always been one of my favorites. Jane Seymour, who plays Queen Isidora, is instantly unlikable. She's unkind to Emily, who has done nothing wrong. Her anger should be put toward her son for not telling Emily who he was. Emily does everything to impress the Queen, even eating haggis. But in the end, the Queen comes around and accepts Emily. This was Lacey's second Christmas film, and while I don't think this is her best performance, it is the film I watched the most of the 11. After all, I'm a sucker for the royal films. And the best Lacey Chabert film is Christmas Waltz. Lacey plays Avery, a woman who is dumped by her insensitive fiancé a month before their wedding. To forget her troubles, she decides to take the ballroom lessons originally intended for the wedding dance. She meets the studio owner Roman, who talks her into taking the dance lessons on her own to challenge her and lift her spirits. When Roman's dance partner can't be a part of the big Christmas showcase at the end, Avery steps in. There's so much to like about this film. This is Lacey's best performance, as you can see how much fun she's actually having. Her character is vulnerable and never took risks in life. In my opinion, Lacey's best performances are when her characters are unsure about themselves and grow to discover the confident woman she always was. One of my favorite scenes is when Roman takes her to his family's Christmas gathering. We see a more realistic, chaotic Italian family celebration. Avery meets Roman's mother, and she instantly puts her to work to help with the cooking. It's a small, comfortable home. They aren't super rich, but they have a fantastic Christmas celebration around a crowded dining room table. Following that scene, the movie has a very untraditional dance sequence. Dancing along the street with an umbrella, the routine on the sidewalk is reminiscent of Gene Kelly's Singin' in the Rain. The scene is a silly fun break from the main story as they dance to the Christmas song Let It Snow. The film ends with a wonderful ballroom dance sequence and of course the final kiss. Christmas Waltz is unique. It goes against a lot of the typical Hallmark tropes, but still finds a way to make me enjoy a dance film. So that is my ranking of the Lacey Chabert Hallmark Christmas films. Do you agree with me, or do you think I should have ranked them differently? Let me know in the comments below. I'm sure you will. I had the pleasure of meeting her at the 2019 Christmas Con. She was very welcoming to everybody and deserves the title of the Queen of Hallmark. I may not enjoy everything she does, but I do find myself anticipating her film every year. I'm the Christmas Aficionado, and remember, stay off the naughty list.